Friends, earlier this morning, Bitcoin dropped below $90,000. And this is the moment everyone's been watching. The crypto fear and greed index plunged into the extreme fear zone at 11 points. And in just 24 hours, the market lost another $1 billion in liquidations alone. What are the real reasons behind this drop? Are we about to see a panic sell-off? And has the bear market officially begun? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's break it all down. A lot of people were expecting Bitcoin to dip to $90,000, but most crypto experts described it as a final liquidity grab to shake out overconfident long holders before the rally resumes. Well, let's take a look at what's actually happening. Right now, Bitcoin is down 28% from its most recent high. And here's the bad part. We closed the previous week below the 50-week moving average, which is a key support level during bull markets. We didn't get here by accident. First, the market was hit by a correction triggered by the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, 43 days, which ended with a $619 billion jump in U.S. national debt. The long pause in government operations fueled worries that the Fed might delay rate cuts. But the main issue is the actual bill signed by Trump after Congress reached a temporary deal. Democrats didn't get what they wanted. The government was simply reopened to buy more time for negotiations. This means federal funding is only extended until January 30th, 2026. In just a little over 2 months, the U.S. could once again be facing another government shutdown. On top of that, the Bureau of Labor Statistics took a major hit. Many employees were essentially on unpaid leave, meaning the Fed is unlikely to receive any official economic data for October. As a result, the December 10th rate decision meeting may have to be held blind. Several Fed members already said that under these conditions, keeping rates unchanged is safer. The odds of a pause jumped above 50%, even reaching 55% at one point. This pressured the S&P 500. The index isn't falling as dramatically as Bitcoin, but it's at risk of closing below the 50-day moving average, a key support for its current uptrend. Adding fuel to the fire were headlines about SoftBank selling all its shares of NVIDIA, the world's largest company. They simply need cash to fund their joint project with OpenAI. Billionaire Peter Thiel did the same. He dumped all his NVIDIA shares. Some of you might point out that Buffett bought $4 billion worth of Google stock in Q3. But here's the catch. During that same quarter, he kept selling Apple and Bank of America. This marks the 12th consecutive quarter where Berkshire Hathaway is selling more than it's buying. And then, of course, came the final blow, courtesy of Donald Trump. But before we get to that, please help this video reach more of your crypto friends. Hit that subscribe button. Your likes help a ton as well, especially if we can hit 1,000 likes within the first 24 hours. The first issue, China still hasn't resumed exports of several rare earth metals that Trump supposedly negotiated with Xi Jinping. It's not a crisis yet, but it definitely raises concerns. Remember, during that meeting, Trump and Xi basically just shook hands and didn't actually sign anything. But the biggest shot from Trump was postponing the promised $2,000 stimulus payments to Americans, pushing them out to mid-2026. Previously, Trump claimed tariffs would bring in $3 trillion, which is nonsense. Customs revenue for 2025 is projected around $200 billion. But the real issue for crypto is that the market expected this money now. Many analysts were drawing parallels to Trump's helicopter money during the 2020 COVID stimulus, when a huge chunk of those checks went straight into crypto exchanges. And Trump's logic is simple. Why hand out money now when congressional elections aren't until fall 2026? He'll need to buy votes next summer, not today. And crypto investors? They'll survive another correction. They've been through worse. Everything I've just told you, my Telegram community heard long before this video. You can join too. The link is right below the video. Thank you for the support. Now let's move to the forecast. Here's what you'll hear everywhere, on Telegram, Twitter, and YouTube. This is just a correction. Trump won't allow a crisis. The Fed will stop tightening on December 1st. They'll cut rates, secretly print money to save banks. The bull market will continue. Arthur Hayes has already published a new Hopium Pact article. Tom Lee is once again saying this is only a correction and that two major market makers just have liquidity problems. Otherwise, he remains extremely bullish on Bitcoin, and especially Ethereum. Sounds nice, and in some ways even logical. But think back to fall 2021 or February 2018. None of the top crypto personalities admitted a bear market had begun. Everyone offered reasons why the market was just about to resume its climb. Tom Lee was especially infamous. He kept promising a bull run almost until the end of 2018, while Bitcoin fell from $20,000 to $3,000. He later said he'd never make public Bitcoin predictions again. And, of course, he never mentions that now. He just promises new growth because he has to. His firm BitMine is stuck holding over $10 billion in Ethereum. Meanwhile, today ETH dropped to $3,000. I'm not here to give you financial advice or pump hopium. I'll simply share my personal opinion about the crypto market. To enter a full-scale bear market, we need a major catalyst, like the FTX collapse in 2022. That hasn't happened yet. Potential risks include massive Bitcoin sell-offs from ETFs or corporate treasuries. I don't think Michael Saylor's strategy will blow up. He survived a bear market before. But I'm not so confident about the other companies. Still, as long as none of that happens, and based on historical patterns of previous bear market beginnings, there's still a chance for a bounce back toward $100,000. Whether it happens from $90,000 or after a dip to $85,000, hard to say. But the key zone is around $103,000. That's where we'll see whether the uptrend continues or a real bear market begins. A breakout above $103,000 would mean Hayes and Lee were right, and I was just being overly cautious. But if that resistance holds and Bitcoin drops again, to me, that would signal that the next real move up might only come after a fall to around $50,000, maybe even lower. Why do I still expect a bounce? First, the S&P 500 forecast for 2025 aligns almost perfectly with reality. A correction in the fall followed by a new high in December. The stock market looks much healthier than crypto right now, and a recovery there will remove at least one major reason for Bitcoin to keep falling. Second, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said a trade deal with China could actually be signed by November 27th. Third, the odds of a Fed rate pause on December 10th are still around 50%. There are 22 days left for sentiment and Powell to shift toward easing. But remember, these are temporary reasons for optimism. The bigger structural issues in global markets are still building up. I recently released a video explaining what's wrong with the AI bubble. If you missed it, you can watch it now. The link is on your screen. Thanks for watching.